already just gone in with the Babyliss Gold FX, and now I'm going right underneath that line with the Bronze Series 9. This is just going to take away any little bit of loose stubble left with the Babyliss Gold FX. Now moving on, we're starting with a 0.5 open blade, and then after that what we're going to do is we're going to go closed halfway up between the skin and the 0.5, so that's closed halfway up, and then I'm just going to open the notch a little bit, maybe once or twice, and that should blend right into the top of that 0.5 guideline that I've created. You can see the size that I'm taking for this guideline. You've got room to stretch this haircut out, because on the top I've done a 1.5 with the grain, so you know, you don't have to do your guidelines too tight. When you make them too tight, you will run into blends that look compact, and if you want a really flush blend, don't be afraid to spread those guidelines out, especially with these buzz cuts, and they'll come out looking super clean. So now I'm going back in with my trimmer, just using a couple of the teeth to remove that very bottom line that we would have created when we went back underneath it with the Bronze Series 9. Okay guys, now we're going with a 1.5 with the grain. Just make sure that you go with the growth of the hair, especially mindful around the crown area, as the hair can grow in different ways, and if you go against it you will end up taking it a lot shorter, which will lead to a bald patch. Okay guys, so now what I'm doing is I'm going back in with my 1.5 guard, and after that I'm just going to be blending it down to the 0.5 that we've already faded out, okay? Using a couple of the teeth at a time. Make sure you just keep brushing the hair when you're going, okay? You've got to keep brushing and take your time with it. This shouldn't take 2 minutes, you know? You've got to go with the hair and just knock it down one step at a time, you know? A couple of the teeth, flicking it out. Be patient and the fade will start looking good. You've just got to stick at it, keep knocking it down, and it will start looking crispy in no time. Okay guys, now I'm done with my 1.5 and my number 1 guard. I'm going back in with a 0.5 guard. With this, you tend to have to go halfway open and then closed. After you've done that, there's normally a little bit of hair left over. With that little bit of hair, you're going to take the guard off, use a 0.5 open, lever open, and if that don't take it out, then you just have to knock that lever down a little bit. Knock it down. If that don't take it out, you knock it down a bit more. There's no right or wrong, because every haircut's different, every texture's different, so depending on the man in the chair, depends on how much work it's going to take to fade it out. Just notice how when I come to this back bit there's a little crease. This is where you've got to be, you know, use your brain a little bit. Don't be afraid just to pull that skin up, stretch it up to get in there, you know. Some things you're not taught, you've just got to use common sense to get the job done. So now we're moving on to the other side. I did pretty much the same steps as I did on the right hand side, so I'm just going to let you follow along and take it in. Just take notice to how this side grows completely different to the other side. This side almost comes completely forward, and going against the grain, you've got to go with the angle, so you've got to favour the angle. The other side was laying completely down, so I had to go straight up, you know, vertically against it, whereas this side, you know, it's almost coming horizontal, so I have to cut horizontally to it, you know, which is, it's interesting how different ways hair can grow, and different, you know, same head and different parts of it can grow different, but that's why you've got to be versatile. You've got to take note of what you're doing, look at the head, and then that will help you in getting that nice fade. So when it comes to the lineup, what I always say is don't dig in, you know, and don't push it too far back at the start, because you can always go back and touch it up, you know. The first time you go over it, you're simply just getting a base in, and then afterwards you're going to look in the mirror, reevaluate, and then start detailing it and getting it super sharp. So here I am using a little bit of shaving gel, always stretching the skin. A little trick you can do as well with your razor is I always drag the blade out just a little bit. I expose the blade a little bit more than what it's designed to, and that way it just gives me that little bit more blade to get that shape up looking that little bit extra crisp. YouTube, this is the trim, and if you like it, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. I hope you think this is absolutely fire. Cheers guys, see you soon.